Welcome to Reality D times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing 90 Day UK. Oh boy, y'all. It's been a minute for me since I watched, I haven't watched the season. I never watched the season when it came out. I didn't have time. But I'm going through now and watching these episodes. Whoa. Anyways, we have 12 episodes for this season. I believe I'm doing this in 5. By the way, we're going to be doing 4 episodes per my episodes. And I believe I'm doing the reunion in its own. So, let's jump in to the reason we're here. That's 90 Day UK. We're on episode 1. We meet Shannon. She's 25 from Liverpool. She says she loves Turkey, not the food, the country. She works in a Turkish restaurant. All her friends are Turkish. Sounds to me like maybe you have a fetish, but anyways. Then the man that she works with at the Turkish restaurant, he's freaking hot. He's really hot. But anyways, we find out that she's with her partner. His name is Mete. She was interested at first, she was not interested at first when he approached her, but then they got talking and she kind of got interested. We find out from him that he loves football, soccer, which is great because she plays. She plays football, so that's really, really cool. We find out that she has a friend. Friend's name is Jay. They're pretty close. Best of friends. And Mete doesn't like it. He's jealous about it. He doesn't like her male friends. He is a jealous boy. Yikes. We then at this point meet Mete in Turkey. He's 32. He says, I'm very positive. I like to smile. I like smiling. Smiling is my favorite thing. Like he's Buddy the freaking elf. But anyways, smiling is my favorite. He loves boxing. He says, actually, I love all sports. He works with a hotel in the entertainment, what's the word I'm looking for? Department. He used to party all the time, like Eddie Murphy. Maybe you're too, hopefully you're not too young, you don't understand that reference. Party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. But it was his girl at the party all, okay, anyways. But he says that he doesn't party as much anymore because he has Shannon. He says they like similar things, PS5, onions and garlic. They like onions and garlic. I mean, I like garlic. Garlic is really good. But everything makes him jealous because men want her. Or she goes out with guys, so like he gets really jealous about that. So she has to tell Mete that she was with the guys the night before after they played soccer. She hung out with some of her guy friends. I don't think just guy friends, like there was other people there too. But she was hanging out with them and they partied or whatever to celebrate. Apparently Jay and Shannon, so Jay, her best friend, they're freaking neighbors, y'all. They're neighbors. They live beside each other. There's no way in hell does Mete know? Because I feel like if Mete knew this, he'd be so pissed. Anyways, she says that she can hear him breathing. That's weird. Okay. Okay, y'all. Y'all. I'm only on episode, 5? I think I'm gonna lose my ever-loving mind if I have to hear these dodos continuously call each other darling. And it's not the darling that's the problem. It is how they say it now. He doesn't have any other choice. It's his accent. It's still annoying, but it's his accent. She, however, does because she says it in his freaking accent. Darling, darling, darling. What's wrong, darling? Why are you mad, darling? Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I'm losing it because every sentence ends with darling, I want to beat you upside your heads, darling. Like, it's so, I'm gonna have such a problem. I'm already so irritated. This was episode 1, and I clocked it then, and I'm like, I'm gonna have a hard time. She tells him, and he's not good, tells him about the hanging out with the guys, and he's not well, and he hangs up on her. She says, if I'm not jealous, I don't, or he says, all right, if I'm not jealous, I don't love her. That feels toxic. He says, I have rules, and she has rules. She basically told him, quit your job because you will meet women, and he did. He quit his job, y'all. I don't understand people telling their partners to quit their job because they're going to be jealous. I don't get it. I don't get it. I guess I just live in a different world, but like, I don't get it. So he told her, you get to be with your friends. I'm going to go do the same. Tit for tat. Toxic shit. Like, what is going on? Jay tells her there's this website that outs cheaters, but she's like, no, thank you. I'm not interested. Honestly, I don't think Mete is cheating on her. I don't think there's anything wrong with their relationship on the grand scheme of things. I think they're fine, but they need to know their communication. She's on the way to the airport and it's snowing a lot. She tries calling him, but he doesn't answer. She gets to the airport, calls him again, still doesn't answer. She goes on the plane, hoping for the best. Bitch, I wouldn't go there to hope for the best. But she does. She arrives at the airport in Turkey, calls him, no answer, because tries to go see him. He ain't there. Her phone goes off, or starts ringing, but it's just her mom. Then she loses connection, and what you gonna do? And that's how we end that episode with them. So more on them later. Next person we meet, Xena. Like, isn't there like what's that show there? Xena Warrior? Like she's not a warrior. But we meet Xena. We see her pole dancing. Good for her. She's like 60 something. Her favorite music is reggae. But she also listens to classical music. She also listens to soul music, jazz. You know what? I just love music. You could have said that. She's waiting for her tooth to be screwed in because she's done a lot of work. She says she's done boob job, nose job, tummy tuck. Maybe, I don't even know. I might have added the tummy tuck. She's 65 years old. She's not interested in men her age because they're old and decrepit. They're dying, whatever. They got big belly, she also said. She also doesn't like younger men, like 20s, 30s. She doesn't like that either. She prefers a man in the middle. So she found a man. And this man is 44. He's Abraham, or whatever his name is. He's a waiter in a hotel. He's from Gambia. She met him there. We have her friend Lisa, who is just fine. And she's like, are you going all the way there for cock? Like, all the way there. Listen, I mean, I've never been with a Gambian man. Okay? I never tried one of them. Sounds so horrible to say. But I've been with African men. Obviously, like I said, my boyfriend's African. You go to Africa for African cock. You just do. You just do. I wouldn't, but I get it. But when you don't know if this man is for real, I wouldn't. But Abraham speaks 3 languages. When she posted him, and people were like, "You're just a visa vagina, a sex tourist." Bullshit. She's like, I am not a sex tourist. I can get sex in the UK. Bitch, that doesn't mean you're not a sex tourist, though. You can get sex in the UK and still be a sex tourist. Like, what? Please tell me that you didn't go to Gambia with the hope that you might be able to be like how Stella got her groove back. You know what I mean? Come on now. Anyway, I know that was Jamaica, but still, you know what I mean? Ma'am, you are a visa vagina and you are a sex tourist. Just, it is what it is. So her mom is 95 years old and her mom is a racist. I laugh, I can laugh, I'm black, but she's a racist. She's racist. Whoa. Because here's what happens. Okay, her mom's 95 years old. She's going blind. Maybe a little senile, who knows? Her mom says, he's an ugly bloke. Now, I had to ask the question. I'm like, is he ugly because he's black or is he just because he's ugly? He's not my type. He's not at all. I don't find him good looking. But to be that blunt. I mean, I look forward to it. But my God, he's an ugly bloke. You must have dirt in your eyes. My Jesus. Wow, you must have dirt in your eyes. Um, she's like, he's not my mom's type. And I'm like, you mean black? He's black. And that's not your mom's type. Listen, listen. It's fine. It's fine that your Caucasian daughter wants to be dicked down by a black man. There's nothing wrong with that. I get it. Anyways, um, she's like, are you gonna marry him? I hope not. Tell us how you really feel, Mama. She's like, I don't think she loves him. And honestly, I don't think she does either. I don't think she loves him. I think she just wants to get dicked down. And I don't blame her. I don't. So we all want to be. So I get it. So she has 4 children, 7 grandchildren, and 1 great grandchild. When you have a great grandchild and you're dating a 44-year-old man, I mean, she's young to have a great grandchild. But when you have a great grandchild and your boyfriend's 44 years old, this is too much. They say, does he want kids? Well, how do you know he doesn't? Great question. More on that as the season goes. Because he can't provide. Because he can't provide. Ma'am, come in. Please. Please listen to what I'm about to tell you. He's in Gambia. It's not like he's in the UK, where money's a little different. Cost of living's a little different. He's in Gambia. Now, I don't know what the cost of living is in Gambia, but something tells me that that doesn't fucking matter. That if a man wants children, he's gonna make it work. He's gonna figure it out. I think it has more to do with the fact that he's unable to settle down, that he might be a little bit of a fuck boy. More on that later. That's what I think. I think it has nothing to do with that he can't provide. But anyways, she says that she's giving him money. He got a phone. He also got a mattress because he had nowhere to sleep on. He had money for his birthday and also for Christmas. But, you know, they said he could be like one of 4. He could have so many different women. She says, I've given him 400 pounds, but I offered, like, he didn't ask for it because he didn't have to. Just because he's not asking for the money does not mean he isn't a scammer. We found out she lives in a retirement community. She's the youngest of all the kids. She's like, I don't think it's not all the kids, sorry. The youngest in the retirement community. She's like, I don't think they liked me at first, but then I made their gardens look nice. Now they like me. We find out that Abraham is Muslim. He could have 4 wives and 4 sex slaves. I'm sorry, what now? I knew with the 4 wives situation. I feel like the other Muslim men that we've had on 90 Day have failed to mention that they could have 4 sex slaves. I know about the 4 sex slaves when they die. I know that. I think. I don't know, I could be totally wrong and just going based off of terrorists, whatever. I could be so wrong with this. I just never heard about sex slaves. I've just never heard. 4 wives, yes. 4 sex slaves, never heard. Something tells me he's telling her that. Anyway, we find out, we see her talking to him, and he starts asking her for money. £3,000 to be exact, because he wants to buy a taxi something for his business. He wants to start a business doing cabbing or whatever. Is that okay? No. No, it's not okay. You think I just have £3,000 lying around? Like, I take £3,000 as a Canadian person. But I know that £3,000 in Canadian dollars is, uh, I can feel like it's close to my entire paycheck a month, which is more than that. So it's just, yikes. No. And she's retired. She's like, I don't have the money. She says, I would like to help you, but if he could like pay it back, I would get a loan. Bitch, don't you dare. Do not get a loan, because then what happens is he is not giving you that money back and you're stuck with that loan. You be dumb. But she says, I don't have it now. And then all of a sudden, the call cuts out. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? She blames it on the fact that the internet's shoddy, which it could be. But personally, I think it's more of, you couldn't give him the money. So why am I still talking to you? But yeah, she says she doesn't have it. She's retired. Like, she doesn't have the money. Fair enough. Alrighty, guys. Next, we meet Shorna. This bitch. She's 45 years old. She's a workout nut. We find out that she met this man named Adnand. He's Albanian, but he lives and works in Greece. He's 25. He's very young. She has a daughter. Her name is Kayla. They're like sisters. She says he might be hiding something. Like her daughter is saying, he might be hiding something because you are. Oh, really? Was she hiding? I'm thinking, oh, maybe she's dating somebody else behind his back. No. Mm-mm. That ain't it. Well, kind of. She says she did meet someone else. Ain't that for someone else, y'all? It's God Almighty. Mm-hmm. God Almighty, yeah. She converted to Mormonism. Oh, no. And they believe no smoking, no alcohol, and yikes, gotta, I gotta keep my chastity. So no sex. Let me reiterate, y'all. She's 45. He's 25. And they have had sex before. So this is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because he doesn't even know. He doesn't know that she converted to Mormonism. He's about to find out when she gets there. So her friends don't like him, but she doesn't care about people's opinions. Who gives a shit? I don't care. Then why are you asking for people's opinions? Like, why? It's, I mean, I know people can offer it, but like, clearly you're putting yourself out there to get opinions when you just don't care about them. I don't like her. We learn that they cannot even be in the same house with each other. They can hold hands, but no kissing. We then meet Adnan, and he really wants to live in England. It sounds like he's really only with her because she's British. We learn, like I said, they've already kissed. They've had lots of sex. This is not going to go well. She finds it soothing, y'all, to read the Book of Mormon. I've not heard anyone describe the Book of Mormon unless it's the musical, that of soothing. Never heard that. But she finds it soothing. I feel like this might be some religious trauma. Anyways, he's Muslim, which is great. You know why? Because he doesn't actually practice. So he's going to be easy to convert him to Mormonism. What if he doesn't want to convert? Like, it's gross. Him as a Muslim person has never probably forced her to convert. He probably never would. He probably doesn't care. So you're going to try and force him to convert to Mormonism? No. Her daughter is like, you're delusional. Agreed. She is delusional. Anyways, that is episode 1. Episode 2. So we have Shannon. If I remember, in the beginning of episode 1, she's just standing around waiting for him to show up. She's been waiting forever for him to come get her. But then here he comes. Kind of wanted to be left there in the airport. It would have been great. If these people keep saying, darling, darling, I'm going to lose it. I've already lost it, can you tell? I love waking up to you, darling. He's apparently a good chef. And then they just play some rock, paper, scissors, whatever. Then he says, I need to come and meet your parents. And she's like, I'm my friends. He's like, well, like who? Jay, who is also my neighbor. And then she says, he thinks you're here for the visa. Bet you did not need to tell him that. You didn't need to tell him that. Why did you tell him that? Just be like, my friend, he just doesn't understand. Something like that. I don't know. Or just don't say anything at all. What? I know the producers over here like, tell him that Jay hates him. Like, you know what I mean? It's just so stupid. But anyways, she tells him that. And he's like, well, no, I don't like him. I don't like him because he doesn't like me. He's like a devil in this relationship. Okay. Anyways, they're fighting over this whole situation. In the next scene, we see that he bought her favorite food to apologize for, being a dick. Darling, I bought you your favorite food, darling. Thank you, darling. He's like, I was annoying. Then all of a sudden, while they're talking, trying to resolve this issue, Jay starts calling. But Shannon decides not to answer the phone. And he's like, well, what the hell? And he's like, how about we talk with him together? But she doesn't want to do that. Why? I don't know. It's weird that she opts to not talk to Jay, or doesn't seem to want to talk to him with Mete. It's weird. But I also understand her perspective being like, I just don't want an argument with him. Get it? But you're also going to have an argument with him about whether or not you should call Jay. Like, pick your battle, I guess. So now he thinks that she's hiding something. She doesn't want there to be more issues. And he says, well, if he's your best friend, like, why can't we talk? Then Jay calls again. First of all, listen, if I don't answer the phone to you the first time, don't call me back. Text me. You know what I mean? If you're unless you're like my boyfriend or something, or my mom, that's one thing. But if you're calling me down and calling me down and calling me down, we're gonna have a problem. She just doesn't want them to fight, she says. So, yeah. That's them for episode 2. Then we move on to Xena. She's going shopping with her bestie, Lisa. She's going to buy clothes for his family because, of course, she is. He apparently has some nieces and nieces that are 13, 8, and then a nephew that's 2. And Lisa brings up the question we're all asking ourselves. Are you sure they're not his? They probably are. We meet him, as I mentioned before, he's 44. His family loves that she gives him money. I bet you do. I bet you do love that. She is good for him, for his family, he says. I bet she is. She's an idiot. So Xena tells Lisa, I have given him 500 pounds, given him 500 pounds last week. And then he asked for 3,000 pounds. And he really wants to come to England. No, you don't say. I'm not shocked by that. But he's not scamming me. He's genuinely into me, even though he wants my money. Like, you're so I'm sorry, for a 65-year-old woman, you're dumb. I don't I understand being stigmatized, but this is ridiculous. She's with one of her grandkids, and she tells her about 3,000 pounds. And she also mentions to her granddaughter that Lisa said that I should search him, but like, I don't know how because he doesn't have social media. Do a Google search. Jesus Lord. In about 3 seconds, her granddaughter finds his Facebook page. Please, it's fucking dumb. If he's telling you he doesn't have one, he probably does. Like, are you serious? He says on his Facebook page that he's single. Shocker. And he has pictures with women. What? Color me shocked. Not. Ridiculous. Anyways, that is Xena for now. We're with Shorna. Ugh. Ugh. This is gonna get bad, y'all. She's on her way to him, and when she sees him, she hugs him. But when he tries to kiss her, oh, no, no, she kisses. It's fine. It's fine. Back up, bad breath. He's like, what the fuck? She kissed me. He's like, this is not the same person that I had before. The bed, it's so big, but it's only gonna be me in it. Hardy har har. I give it like a week. she's she's gonna be like, sorry God. You know what I mean? They are walking on the beach. She loves this moment. But then she has to kill the vibe with her news. Guess what, honey? You know what I did? I did a thing. I converted to Mormonism. He doesn't even know what Mormonism is. He doesn't even know. What's that? What's Mormonism? What's that? Um, One of the rules of Mormonism is that we can't have sex. We can hold hands. We can hug. We can't kiss. We can't do that. He's like, is this a joke? But he is not happy. And I think it's fair of him to not be happy about this because she's been Mormon for a minute and she hasn't told him and hasn't explained what's going to happen. Didn't give him the opportunity to let this fester and figure out how he wants to handle things. It's his right, you know. Cuz I don't think it's fair, especially when you have been with each other sexually, to then take that away from him because God. No offense to God, but I'm just trying to say, you know, we all have sex outside of marriage. God doesn't want us having sex in any religion outside of marriage. We still do it. The fuck? Anyways, um, so he asks her, why didn't you tell me? And how long has it been? She's like, since last year, September. I want to know what month we're in now, but I don't know that information. He says, why didn't you tell me? He, like I said, doesn't know what Mormonism is. He says, well, I'm Muslim. And he says, sorry to tell you now, but like, I guess ain't no time like now, but I can have 6 wives. Sir, it's 4. Even I know that. But anyways, and apparently 4 sex slaves. That's a new one. And she's like, well, you don't even practice. So that's a goddamn point, ma'am. Like, I think we can all agree. Islam is more than just a religion. It's a culture. So he can flip-flop back into that if he wants to. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like Judaism, same thing. I feel like you could be a non-practicing Jew, but if one day you decide, you know what, I want to go back to that, you can. I mean, that's the case with any religion, to be totally honest with you. But again, what she doesn't seem to understand, the, I think, a very core difference with Islam and with Judaism than any other religion is the culture. And I think Mormonism can have a similar thing, but let's not forget, y'all, and maybe I'm hitting a chord with this and I don't care. Mormonism started off as a cult. So it's very different kind of culture, but it's not now. I mean, I could sit here and say Seventh-day Adventist was also a cult. I'm not Seventh-day Adventist, but my ex is. I would say is. And it did start off that way. It did start off as a cult, but it is what it is. It's a different type of culture. Islam and Judaism is obviously was never started off that way. And it is such a culture. It's more than just the religion. And that's what she doesn't get. So, yeah. He's like, well, I will tomorrow. So I'm practicing tomorrow. But he's going to take the night to think about things. And I think that's fair. So he is offended that she didn't tell him. I think, again, fair. She asks, why is sex so important to you? Bitch, shut up. You cannot ask him that question when you have had a sexual relationship when it suited you. You know what I mean? Sex is important to most people. Okay? Most people would not choose to be in a relationship with somebody if they didn't test drive. You know, I'm not saying that everybody, but most. So, yeah, sex is important. And sex is not just about the act of it, but it's also, the feelings that you can get, the intimacy, the closeness. These are all things he mentions, by the way. And I don't think that that's crazy. And I don't think he should be shamed for the fact that he wants to have sex with you. I also don't think she should be shamed for wanting to be celibate, but it's more about the switch up for me that I have the issue with and not telling him about it. He said, you're using me. I know, I want to go that far. And he's like, maybe you have someone in the UK. Oh, yeah, Jesus. He said, or she said, maybe you need to think about it. How long do you need to think about it? He says, he needs 2 days, which I don't think is crazy. And she's like, no, you have until the end of the day to make a decision. K- uh, what? Bitch, you threw this on him. He could have had months to think about this before you showed up, and you chose not to tell him. But now you want to give him a timeline? Go fuck yourself. I hate her so much. Do you want to talk about another person I hate on the show? Let's move on to Phin. Phin, Riley. Sorry, that is a Buffy reference. He's 33. He's 33? He's 33? Did I get that wrong? He looks like he's 53. Shoot. Sorry. Anyways, he is wearing what looks like a Muppet mask. It's so weird. Apparently it was like a political thing that he did. He's a weirdo. He's a cat lover. His cat is having hair loss, and guess what? She's stressed, and it's his fault. I'd be stressed too if he was my owner. Anyway, he's with this woman named Sandra. He can always get a new cat, because fuck your cat. Fuck that cat. You know what I mean? But you can't get a new Sandra. They have been together for 2 years, but he's actually known her for 17 years. And this is a very interesting story. He met her while she was living in an orphanage, and he was volunteering there. Mind you, she's Brazilian. He had traveled to this orphanage with his family. Him and his mom, I think, were the ones that volunteered at this orphanage, and that's how he met her. She was 17 at the time, and he was 16. I guess he is 33. They lost touch, and 2 years ago, she called him by accident, and the rest is history. He's with his mom. He wants her to know now how she really feels about his relationship. Like, he really wants to know. She says, I wonder if she is attached to you, the person, or is she attached to the lifestyle? Ma'am, this is going ahead a little bit, but ma'am, Santa's not the problem in this relationship. I'll be your son. Anyways, does she love you for you, or are you a vehicle to come to the UK? I don't think she wants to go to the UK. I don't think she does. I think she'll stay in Brazil. He says no one thinks this will work. Do you feel the same? And she says, just how is it going to work when you're here? And he says, yeah, why not find someone here? Problem is, I haven't found anyone here because they met you and you were a jerk. And they're like, you know what? I'm so good. That's what happened. Anyway, we meet Sandra. I say Sandra or Sandra, whichever, might interchange. She has 2 kids. Yes, it's hard to be a single mom, she says. It's all on her. We find out she has 8 siblings. That's a lot of kids. They're all so close. She was at the orphanage from 9 months old. She said that her mom did not want to put them in an orphanage, but her dad left and her mom had no choice. She couldn't take care of the 9 kids on her own, so she had to give them up. And I can't even imagine having to give up on 9 of your children because your fucked up husband or whatever he was to her just took off one day. I can't even. My heart breaks for her mother. So he's talking to her. You know what though? He really thinks I just want to talk to her. I just want to talk to her. I don't want to deal with her fucking kids. Fuck them kids, is what he's thinking. He thinks her kids are annoying. Sir? Sir. I mean, I'm going to get into Sandra a little bit later, but for me, it's like if this man is literally thinking your children are a nuisance, why are you with him? And he's, they're screaming, and he's like, oh, there they go. There they go. They start screaming. That's what kids do. Kids scream. That's what they do. You did too, my guy. He says, not looking forward to that. I'm not ready to be a stepdad. Then why are you with this woman who has kids? You know she has kids. If you're not ready to be a stepdad or a dad in general, then why are you with a woman with kids? Like, why? He says the idea of being a stepdad actually makes me sick. Wow. Wow. That's, again, I have to ask, why is she with him? Anyway, we are in, actually, I'm going to take a quick break here. There's not going to be an ad or anything, but I'm going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we will jump in with the rest of this episode. And I am back. So let's start off with episode 3. We start off with Shannon and Mete. Morning, darling. Sorry about last night, darling. I just didn't think it was the right time, she says, in terms of talking to her friend. She's like, I didn't want there to be an argument. But they're fine now, so it is what it is. He has taken her to look at cow tongue, cow feet, and a cow head. But he has a surprise for her. And no, I don't think it's of the cow stuff, but it is another animal. It's sheep. Sheep intestines, to be exact. And apparently it's like, I think it's a Turkish delicacy, but she doesn't like it. Same, I don't think I would either. I can't eat the organs of an animal. Like, I couldn't do it. Anyways, she never wants to eat it again. And I think that's fair. At least she tried it. So she is meeting his friends, but they barely speak any English. So this is going to be difficult. So Mete, maybe you could translate to kind of help with things. And I'm thinking, doesn't Google have Google Translate? You could just use the Google. So that way you could have an easy, somewhat flowing conversation where Mete doesn't have to translate. Anyway, but that really doesn't help the conversation because Mete can speak English, but I don't think his English is amazing. So that's why I'm saying would be easier to use like a Google Translate, but whatever. But that's basically them for episode 3. Then we move on to Shorna and Adnand. You know, things can change in a year. And saying like between them seeing each other, things can change in a year. But yes, things can change in a year. But something as drastic as this, and obviously something like this that is going to disrupt the normal rhythm of your relationship, is something that you should talk about. I hate her. She's saying that he's not open-minded. Okay. She's like, I dressed up to show him that we can connect on a spiritual level. Okay. He tells her, you need to respect me as a boyfriend and as a human. Now, I don't like so much the boyfriend part of things, which I get what he's saying, but I don't really particularly like that. But as a human, yes, communicate with me. Tell me these changes are happening. The fact that you're not telling him because you're afraid that he's going to leave you, that's his right, though. Because personally, I'm going to respect your choices if you want to abstain for reasons. I will respect it. However, I may not want to be a part of that journey. I might have to leave you to do that journey because I can't be in a sexless relationship, or I don't want to be pressured to get married in order to have sex in my relationship. It's a manipulation. And honestly, I can't remember if it's at this point that I started thinking that way or if it's a little later, but I started to think, oh, this is all a manipulation tactic. Yes, maybe she's taking her religion seriously where she knows she can't do certain things, but I really truly think she has used this to her advantage in order to get an engagement and a wedding, and using sex in order to make sure that happens for her. That's not what religion is for. And you don't get to use religion for any one reason that suits you. Hate this woman. Um, she says, make your mind up already about this. And it's like, okay, you just told him. You've been living with this for a year, but you just told him yesterday. And you want him to make up his mind in a day when you've been holding on to this for a year. And then 5 seconds later, she's like, I'm done. We're just going in circles. Again, you just told him 5 seconds ago, make up your mind already, after you only told him you're not having sex with him due to religion a day ago. And then you don't give him time to respond in the 5 seconds that you've just given him to say yay or nay. You make up your mind right there and then. I hate this woman. So he did sleep on the couch that night, but her bright idea now is to kind of get this to go in her favor, is to show him that they can have fun without having sex. Yes, you can have fun without having sex. Of course, 100%. I don't think a relationship really truly survives without being able to have fun without having sex. However, most people who are in relationships with somebody, 9 times out of 10 also want to have sex and find sex also fun. That's normal in a relationship. Sex isn't just about fun, right? Especially when you're in a relationship, sex is not just about fun. It's about the connection. It's about the intimacy. It's about expressing one's love in that way. And I'm not necessarily saying that this guy is taking sex that seriously. He's still pretty young. He's only 25. I don't think I started, well, maybe around his age, I could have started to think that way, but I was also in a fairly committed relationship. Obviously, at that time I was married, that I could think that way about sex. But really, even then, because of how my sex life looked like back then with the person that I was with back then. It was very different than how I view things now. I'm with a partner now in my 30s that really and truly, yes, sex is fun with him, obviously, but we do tend to express ourselves, express our love in that moment. I don't know if this guy is quite there yet, but if he is there, that is important clearly for him. And it's also confusing when you're you've been giving him all of this and then turn around and it's like, No, I'm not going to keep doing that anymore because Mormonism, you know? Mormons have sex too, girl, just because they say they don't. Anyway, um, so yeah, she has the bright idea. They're gonna go mountain biking. I don't see that fun at all. I don't think that's fun at all. And I don't think he thought it was fun either. Um, then my girl, as they're on the bike or doing the bike riding, she falls off her bike. The whole time I'm thinking in this moment, so it was in this moment, that she's manipulating him to marry her. And in this moment, she proved it by saying, and well, I don't know if I'm quoting this, but she says, I thought I would get a ring at the end of this mountain biking situation. Because I think like they mountain biked to this top of this hill. The view is absolutely gorgeous, but he doesn't propose. And she's thinking, I'm going to get a ring at the end of this. First of all, I have many things to say. I just said the one thing. Next thing, you arranged this fucking date. He can't plan to propose to you with a date that you organized. He didn't organize it. He can't plan for it. You did it, bitch. Right? If he planned the mountain biking and planned to take you to the top of this hill, then he would have maybe proposed if he was the one planning this. You planned it. But again, it's like I'm going to say it again. 2 days ago now, you just told him that you're not going to sleep with him until you are married because Mormonism. That's what you just did. You're not even letting this man take this time to think, is this what I want to do? Do I want to marry this person right now? Am I willing to be in a sexless relationship until I'm ready to marry her? And then you're gonna go through the proposal, and this bitch is gonna want a big ass wedding. So that takes time and planning. So clearly that's gonna also put time into it. So call it, I may potentially at minimum have to wait a year with no sex. Am I willing to do that? He may not be willing to do that. And that's, I think, okay. I don't think he's in the wrong. Because I know for me, I wouldn't want to do that necessarily. However, if you love someone enough, then maybe you can endure it. But the biggest problem here is you never gave him the opportunity to think this through in the year you knew this was a reality. And said, I think I should just tell him in person. No. Anyway, um, she continues on to say too, which was another thing, and I think I just kind of summed it up, my thoughts on this. And we could get married and we could have sex. I hate you, ma'am. Let's move on. We move on to Phin. Phin. Phin, Phin. I hate this guy too. Did I say that? I don't even know because I recorded that first half of the episode maybe a couple weeks ago. I hate this guy. So he is going to see Sandra. He lands and they hug, but he already has 5 mosquito bites the moment he landed. So he's going to be meeting her kids the next day. And he's like, I think it's going to be quick, or maybe I'm saying I think it might be quick. I said in this moment, before I knew the full details with this person, that it might be too fast for him because of his thoughts and his views on things. And maybe it still is. But I'm telling you, this guy can fucking suck a dick. Anyway, you know, if there was no kids in the picture, it would be easier. Y'all, this motherfucker said to the mother of these children that it would be easier if the kids were not in the picture. Well, I have, first of all, you're a dick. You knew what you were getting into. This woman has children. If you do not want to be with a woman with children, which is going to be highly impossible at your age, then don't be with her. If you don't want to have children, then don't be with somebody who has kids. But on the other hand, I also have to come at Sandra. You know this man is not excited about your children and wants nothing really to do with them. Why are you willing to put your kids in an uncomfortable situation with this fucking guy? For what reason? I have a lot of disdain towards her as well. Just like everyone around her is telling her this is a bad idea. He's telling you this is a bad idea. You need to pick your fucking kids over this guy. This guy. There's nothing exciting about him. I don't get it. Anyway, he says, "What if they don't like me?" Well, make them like you. They may not like you, but they're also little that maybe they will. Like, you're going in with this mindset that they may not like me. You can work on that. I have more of an issue where you're just saying, fuck them kids the minute you walk in. And it makes me worry for safety because you can't trust people these days. You can't fucking trust people these days. We've seen what happens with children in these types of situations. You know, we've seen it with Ruby Frankie. You know, we've seen it with, other kids that have happened more recent when they're in these situations with these people, whether it's their parents or, foster parents, or their parent is with another person that's not their father or mother. We know what happens. These kids get hurt in some way or worse. Why would you put your children in a situation where they're going to be at harm's way? I don't trust this fucking guy. I don't. I'm not saying he necessarily will do anything to these kids, but the fact that you off the bat are like, fuck them kids, and not in a funny way, right off the bat, I don't fucking trust you. So she's worried to have him around her kids. Again, if you are worried to have him around your kids, why are you going to even contemplate marrying this person? Like, why? Because at some point in time, you're going to leave this man alone with your kids. And he, unfortunately, will not be the first nor the last step parent to put your children in harm's way. Or wouldn't be the first children to be put in harm's way from a step parent. The fuck are we doing here? I don't care about your history that y'all met when you were 17. I don't give a fuck. Who you were as teenagers ain't who you are now. Like, 48 hours earlier, she's with her sister. She wants them to meet, the sister and Phin. But her sister doesn't like this, as no one does. Like, come on. He doesn't want to be a step parent. That should be the first red flag where this is not continuing. This relationship has gone 3 years too long because they've been together for 3 years. It's been 3 years too long, as far as I'm concerned. He apparently told the kids to be quiet when they were on a phone call. So your kids are so fucking loud, quote unquote, this is his words, not mine, that he actually had the fucking gall to tell them kids to shut up. You're too loud. Be quiet. If I was Sandra, no. I would have told him to go fuck yourself and we're done. That's what I would have done. And I'm not a fucking parent, but obviously I'm a person who wants to be a parent. And if for some reason I am no longer with my children's father and I'm with another person and that person tells my children, not even me, tells my children to be quiet, me and your moms are trying to talk, I would be like, the fuck we are, click. That's what I would have done. So I don't understand how this woman is okay with this man talking to her children this way. I don't fucking get it. It's not like he's basically trying to be a role model to these kids. He doesn't fucking care about them. He wants nothing to do with them. So again, I ask her, why the fuck am I here watching your story? So her sister's not optimistic that the kids will like him. I don't think they should personally. I want these kids to make her life a living hell. His life, sorry, a living hell. So the kids are here and it's awkward. He gives them gifts and that's awkward too. And they go to bed, which is a task and a half as it is with children. And he's just like, the sooner they go to bed, the better. Guess what, guy? This is the kind of person, in order to make this go by faster, that he would drug these children with fucking Benadryl in order to make sure that they go to bed and stay in bed. Because they don't stay in bed. They end up getting out of bed. Because here's the thing. There's this person in their home that they're not used to having in their home. I mean, the bedtime routine, I'm sure is Cat's going to have one way or another, right? Whether he's there or not. But there is a person there and they want to be a part of it. We've all been kids. We know what that feels like, where we want to be a part of the action because there's people in our house that we don't normally have in our house. So we want to be a part of it even though it's bedtime. This is what these kids are doing. They have this person in their home that they're not used to having in their home. They're like, ooh, and they want to be a part of it. It's, yes, can be annoying. They are children. But they are children. You say, you gotta go to bed. He'll still be here in the morning. Let's go to bed. You gotta be kind and calm with them. If they come out again, yes, you be disciplined, but I will not trust this fucking guy to discipline these children in the appropriate way. So, and he's like, why can't the kids just stay in bed? Because they're I just went through it. We don't have to go through it again. Let's move on past that fucking guy and let's go to Xena. So she's still going to see him after finding out about his Facebook page and the pictures and all of this. She's like, I need to get to the bottom of it. If he's lying about this, what else could he be lying about? Being a father, maybe? Seriously? Being actually into you? Who knows? These people have zero chemistry. Xena and him, zero. There's zero fucking chemistry. This woman is just in this to have African dick. I don't blame her. I very much enjoy the African dick I get, but I actually have chemistry with him. I actually love him. I don't think she loves him. I think this is just big black dick. That's all I think this is. But they get to the apartment and she's just complaining the minute she gets there. There's too many stairs. The food from a food bank. Like she's just going bad view, construction site view. She's just going off about all of the things. Ma'am, you have a roof over your head. You have food in your belly. You're fine. Like, calm down. She gives him the presents. I don't know why she gave him I would have left the presents back. I would have left them back there, but whatever. She gave him the presents, but if he's been lying, she's going to take them back. Why don't you have the conversation with him first? Okay. See how that goes, right? Then give him the presents or don't give him the presents. Santa doesn't take back the presents. And here's the thing. Legally speaking, and I'm sure the laws here in Canada are fairly similar to the laws in England. We still kind of take after them. Our highest court actually is in England, technically. We have a Supreme Court here in Canada, but the highest court is actually England and Canada. So I'm going to assume our laws are fairly similar. Once you give someone a gift, it is no longer yours. It is now theirs. Just because you bought it doesn't make it yours no more. The minute you hand gift over, it is theirs. So, which is why I say, why not talk to him first and then give him the gifts? Because the fact that you're going to be like, I'll take that. The fuck? He's not giving it back to you. He's just not. Anyways. And she's upset that he doesn't usually have anything for her, but he can give her something that's priceless. That's why he doesn't buy you anything. That's why he doesn't buy you anything, because he doesn't have to. All he has to say is cocky, and you're good to go. He doesn't have to do anything for you, give you anything in return, because he knows I do have a gift that I don't have to spend money on. Maybe a condom. I fucking hope, but they don't use condoms, because they're like, she can't get pregnant anyways. You can still get an STD, but anyway. So he really truly probably doesn't have to spend any money on that gift. So there you go. Everyone wins. That's what he's thinking. So don't complain about it. And if this is their last night, well, at least she can get dicked down before the end. See, I can't hate her on that, because, yeah. I mean, I've been there. This is the last time I get to have that dick. Then yeah. So they had a good night. And she's like, can you make me a cup of tea? What is going on in England? Because again, for those who would have listened to my coverage of what's it called? China Finished Business. Y'all can make your own cup of fucking tea. And then I think she complains that the tea was not done well. Make your own. So yeah, it was too weak. See, I personally like to leave the tea. Everyone's preferences of how they want to do tea is very different, which is why for me, I'm like, I'll do it myself. Like, really and truly. I mean, my grandfather did make me tea last week or 2 weeks ago. He made me some tea when we were over there. And he asked me how I like whatever. And yeah, like that's one thing. At least he asked, right? But everyone's way of doing things with their tea is different. If you want to leave the tea bag in, if you only want to leave it in for 5 minutes or whatever, or 10 minutes, or you want to leave it until you start drinking it, whatever. I leave my tea bags in. I don't take it out. That's just something, I don't know if it's something I just prefer, but it's something that always happened. Whenever my grandma would make me tea when I was a kid, she would just leave the tea bag in there. So, that's how I like to do it. So maybe the only way that I can think that he screwed this up is that he took the tea bag out before maybe she wanted it taken out. But then make it yourself, or tell him how you like it. Honestly, making a cup of tea is not fucking rocket science. And I don't know why we make it rocket science, because it's really not. Anyway. So the niceties are now going to be over. Let's get to this. So do you have a Facebook page? He's like, not for a long time. So he's not saying he didn't have one. He's saying he hasn't had or used it for a long time. Well, you do. I saw it again. He said he had one, but hasn't used it in a long time. Which means that he probably did not what's the term? Discontinue. There's a terminology Facebook uses, but he didn't get rid of the Facebook page. That maybe it's still just up there. My question is the dates of posts. We didn't get that explanation. I need to know, were these posts a day ago, a week ago, a year ago, 2 years ago? When was the last post on the Facebook page? That's what I want to know. But we don't have that information. So it's hard for me to see whether he's telling the truth or he's not. So she's like, you also said you're single. Well, again, we go back to the same thing. When was he last logged into the Facebook page? Was he single last time he used it? Or is he still continuing using it and then still marking himself as single? We don't know, because we don't know when he last was on it. So, he says it's just a joke. Okay, so then my question is, if you say you haven't used it in a long time, and you're saying you marked yourself as single on the Facebook page as a joke, then that makes me then think, okay, so then you were recently on it, say in the last month or 2 or 3 even, when you've been with her, and you just marked it off as single as a joke. Problem with a joke, though, my guy, is that she needs to be in on the joke. She's not even in on the joke because she didn't know you had a Facebook page until literally 2 days ago. So, how is she in on this joke? She says, "I sent you a friend request and you ignored it. Better than him rejecting it." What if women want to friend you? Then they're gonna friend him. Like, he doesn't have to accept it, though. That's the thing. And he says, "Well, I'm an entertainer." That sounds like Johan if I ever heard anything about Johan. Listen, that Diaries episode, miserable bitch. No one gives a fuck that your man has boob photos from Google on his phone. You knew this man cheated on you left, right, and center, and you still went back to him. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, I hate her and I hate him. Anyway, and he says, like, I would just delete women. Well, that's not true because he has women on the Facebook page, as we know. He has pictures with women. And he's like, she said, sorry, I'm not going to show him the pictures yet. That's her plan. I'm not going to show him the fact that he has pictures of women. Sorry if you hear my bird. On the Facebook page. Then what's the point? Now you're just kind of holding hostage of something. My bird is very loud because he has moments where he wants to play with his ball. Anyways, so yeah, that's where we end episode 3. Final episode in this episode 4. So we start again with Xena and Ibrahim. Have you thought about the deception? And he says that he's sorry, but I did it as a joke. And she's like, why didn't you say that you have social media? Because, bitch, he don't want you to know. I do think he's being sneaky. Don't get me twisted. But a reason that a man does not tell you that he has some sort of social media page, because he doesn't want you to know. He doesn't want you monitoring his every move. He wants to have some freedom, whether that is for nefarious reasons or not. Like, listen, I'm not friends with my boyfriend on any social media, but I know his social media. I do. I know it. He sends me things on Instagram here and there. We are not friends on any social media. That is, for me, I don't take a lot of importance in that. I think even with my ex-husband, I did not friend him on Facebook or when Instagram became a thing or any of those things. I didn't friend him on those things until maybe right before he was deported from the country. Maybe like 6 months before, because I just didn't take a lot of credence in that. No, neither did he. Maybe I'm just from a different generation where we just don't give a fuck. I'm from a generation, I'm the generation, like, internet was obviously a thing, but I'm still older than internet. Ugh. I'm still older than the internet, technically. So, or when, like, the World Wide Web really became a thing. I grew up alongside the internet. You know what I mean? So I'm still of this generation where I know dial-up. You couldn't always be on the computer. Internet was not what it is today. I'm of that world. So for me, it's like I don't take a lot of credence on my social media. I just don't. Never have. I probably never will. So, you know, I just don't care. This woman being in her 50s or 60s, whatever it is, cares too damn much about whether or not she's friends with some man she's fucking on a social media platform. And again, even when we say that, people these days, depending on the age and geographic, don't give a fuck about Facebook. They care more about Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I'm saying he's not old. He's too old for TikTok. Sorry, everybody. He's still too old for TikTok, but it's he may just not give a fuck about Facebook. And maybe it's more Instagram. I don't know. This man, though, he's talking in circles saying, I guess I forgot to delete it. He says that I don't have social media on my phone. She says, okay, but how can I trust you? And he says, well, you can trust me. And he says, please forgive me for these times. And she says, I think I will because I am a forgiving person. Okay. That I will be making sure nothing else happens. And she says that the photos I'm going to hold off on showing him because I need a bit of ammunition. You're a bitch. So I will be confronting him when it's the right time. That's manipulation at its finest, y'all. What are we doing here? Like, really? Um, so they are going to be going to his village the next day. So they're on that ferry the next day to go see his family. But she's on a mission to see if he's lying, y'all. That's what she's here for. Apparently, he built her a room in his house. That's not a fucking room. Y'all, that is not a room. 1 week earlier, we see her quote unquote room. But the problem with this room is it doesn't have a ceiling. It doesn't, it's not a room. It's not a room. She said, does your family speak English? Bitch, no. What? Bitch, no. He's from an African country and he's from a village. Do you think that it's important for these people to learn English? The only reason he does is because he works at a resort or some shit on the mainland. His family doesn't fucking know English. Are you fucking stupid? I'm telling you. People ask the stupidest questions, thinking that English is the most superior language. It's really not. But no, they don't fucking know English. Again, does the UK have a problem using Google Translate? I just have questions. Anyway, so he shows her the room and she says, how long will that take to be finished? Because I guess it's been a bit and there's no ceiling. I guess what he needs more in order to finish this room is money. More that cha-ching. Let's remember, he's already asked for 3,000 pounds, I believe, for this taxi thing he wants to start doing. Now he's asking for an additional $2,000 in order to finish her room. Or pounds, sorry, to finish her room. So she's like, where's the toilet? Oh, it's outside. Y'all, this is not an outhouse. No. The Amish have better accommodations than this. It's just, it's just a bucket, I think, essentially. And she says, and not only that, this is the local toilet. So any other people who live in this village, I think, uses this toilet. Oh my God. That's where I draw the line. But again, this is a woman who has she done her periods, she's already menopaused. But if I was a woman who is still getting a period, which there are women here in this village who gets periods, and I have to use that, oh my God. I know it's how it is. It's just how it is, but it's oh God, no. The diseases from the ground, the bugs. We'll get to the bugs. Um, she says, if I sit down, I won't get up. That's another problem. That's a downfall. Anyways, what if a gecko crawls out my bum? I don't think it's going to actually do that, but who knows? Who knows? Better off peeing in a jug and pouring it in. I'm a woman of a certain age. I gotta go a few times in the night. Yep. Anyways, that's it for Xena and Abraham. Let's move on to Sandra and Phin. Ugh. He says, I love connecting with Sandra. Her sister was supposed to be watching the kids, but somehow we are watching her kid as well. This is a fucking test. This woman tested the fuck out of him and I enjoyed it. But he is trying to connect with the kids, I think. I really don't think, whatever. He says, I miss my normal life. then leave. Just like JoJo said, leave, get out. It's the end. It should be the end of you and me. This is ridiculous. He's like, I didn't choose this. I chose Sandra, but I didn't choose anything else. Motherfucker. You just put your foot in your mouth. You just spoke out of both sides of your fucking mouth. You just said, I didn't choose this. I chose Sandra, but I didn't choose anything else. Bitch, you did. You chose Sandra knowing she's a mother. You chose Sandra knowing she has children. So in that case, you chose all of it. You didn't have to, but you did. So go fuck yourself. Well, you only chose Sandra. You didn't choose anything else. I hate him. So, they're going to be going to a family barbecue. Oh, God, this is torturous. And it's her sister's birthday as well. He says, there are too much people, so let's go sit on the couch. What's the Wi-Fi password? He literally wants to sit on this couch, not engage with her family, while getting the Wi-Fi password in order to just go fuck off on his phone. So he can't even engage with the people who are adults. It has nothing. It's kind of in this moment that I realized it's not even just about the kids and the issues with the kids. This is a man who wants to isolate her. This is a man that you know that if she moves to the UK and she wants to go back to be with her family, to visit her family or whatever, he's not going to let her. Because he can't even do it himself. I don't know if there is some neurospiciness with this person. Maybe there is. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I still think he's an asshole. Because you can be neurospicy and not be a dick. And this guy is. So the brother is like, get the fuck off the couch. We got some bachata going in the background. So he wants to see him dance. I'm sorry, when in Brazil, bachata the fuck away. Like, I just don't understand. I mean, he's square. I think there are a certain group of people in, especially England, that can be very square. And this guy is very square. So I don't think he would be able to even do the bachata. He probably doesn't even have hip movement. But you could still have fun. Be your white boy self. Get out there and bachata. But he can't even do that. Fuck this. Let me go. Tag me in, sir. I'll bachata. Like it's just ridiculous. So he says to her, no, please stay with me because she wants to bachata too. When in Brazil, you bachata. And she understands the assignment because she is Brazilian, but she understands the assignment. Let me go bachata with my family. Please. Let her go. Let her have fun. Maybe if you can see her loosen up and have some fun, maybe it can help you loosen up and have some fun, sir. Maybe you could feed off of that. The fuck? Give him some alcohol. He needs help. He's like, I'm properly scared of what? The bachata? What are you scared of? What are you scared of? Like, what do you think her family's going to eat you alive? They're Brazilian. Normal Brazilian people. They're not people who are going to be out here trying to eat you or some shit. They're not cannibals or something. What are you scared of? Like, literally, the only thing I can say to lighten this whole thing up is that he's scared of the bachata. Anyway. She says no, she's not going to stay there. She's going to go and have some fun. She dips and he's annoyed that she left him. Then get up and have some fun. Like, her sister goes to talk to him and she's like, can I have a conversation with you? He's like, well, it depends. What about? And she says, what are your intentions with my sister? You don't like kids. And he's like, I just don't see that for myself. Which, again, is fair. You're allowed to not want to have kids. You're allowed to maybe not want to have step kids, then do not be with somebody who either A, wants to have kids, has kids. Don't be with those people. Just don't be with them. Like, so he's like, I don't see me as being their father or stepfather. He doesn't even want to try. Okay, if you don't want to be their father or their stepfather, can you be their friend? But the thing is, you have to like them in order to do that, right? I just don't think he likes these kids. I don't know if he has anything against children in general, but maybe he just doesn't like these kids because these kids are robbing Sandra away from him or what he thinks his ideal life should be with Sandra. Which is why I come back to I don't trust him with these kids. She says, but you have to accept her for who she is. It's not just about you. But apparently she wants to have more kids with him. Bitch, are you dumb? She has to be. She has to be dumb. This man has told you in all different ways that he doesn't give a fuck about your kids. He doesn't want to do anything for your kids. He doesn't want to have kids. So why do you think that this is a person that you want to have more kids with? He can barely handle the two you've got. And I don't think, even if by some weird ass miracle, you have a kid with this guy, and then all of a sudden he's like, ooh, I love being a father now, I still don't think that is going to change his views on your kids. I still think he's not going to give a fuck about your kids that you have from a separate relationship. So why are we going to have kids with this person? But of course, on the other hand, she never told him that she wanted to have more kids with him. So that's also on her. Because maybe if he had the full picture, he could have been like, ooh, I don't know, and he didn't get the full picture either. So she says, you're not convincing me and my family that you are it for her. I don't believe him. I don't think you've tried. So think about it. I think that's fair. All right, let's move on to Mete and Shannon. Morning, darling. There's tension this morning. She apologizes for not answering the phone with Jay when he called. Maybe we should call Jay now. Get this shit over with. She says, well, we can do it if you want, darling. Or he says that, I think. Or maybe she did. Who the fuck knows? So she calls him, and it's awkward at first. No one is speaking. And Mete says, it is upset me. Sorry, I had to say it the way he did. What you think about me. What the fuck? I don't think about visa anytime. And Jay says, which I do believe, Jay says, I'm just worried for Shannon, which is fair. He says, I don't need you to worry about my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. Well, just because she's your girlfriend doesn't mean other people are not going to worry about her. But anyways, but he says, I love Shannon. And Jay says, to be honest, that sounds really nice. Done. We're all good now. We're all friends now. I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted more issues. You know what I mean? I wanted more like when Burkhan said, fuck Michael. That's kind of what I wanted, but I didn't get that. Anyways, at least one Turkish man can deliver. Jay says, oh, I said that already. It makes me think that everything is fine. Mete says, I don't want to damage your friendship with Shannon. Meanwhile, Burkhan is like, fuck your friend. Jesus Christ. He feels better now. He can talk about me all he wants now. You can talk, you want to talk nice about me? Cool. You want to talk shit too? That's fine. Because me and you are cool now. The fuck? Meanwhile. So I think they're going to be taking a vacation in a caravan. She's not exactly excited about a caravan. Here's the thing. The last time anyone took a caravan in this universe, it didn't go good. It didn't go good. It really didn't. It went really bad. They broke up. Jesus. That was such a bad time. They should have broken up before they did the caravan anyways. He likes, I don't know why I wrote he likes, she loves. Anyways, she says, I hate it. She's trying to read the map, but how difficult can that be? I'm sure it's probably not in English. Maybe it is in English. I don't know. Why are you using a map? Don't we not have GPS? Do they not have GPS in Turkey? MapQuest? Like, what's going on? Um, I wonder if MapQuest is still a thing. Um, um, so like, you really fuck this map up. They stop at this camp area where there is nobody else. I don't know if this is actually a camp area, to be totally honest with you. She says the caravan is too small, plus it's raining. And she's like, I didn't leave England for it to rain in Turkey. You brought the rain with you, girl. That's what happened. So he's making steaks medium, of course. Well, it should be medium rare. It's better that way, but it's fine. Medium's fine. Ma'am, let's hope it's edible. Okay. Let's hope that it's edible. Because I feel like having a steak over a fire, which is essentially, well, no, I think it was one of those portable ovens, is a bad idea. But what do I know? I feel like you need to have like a cast iron that you can cook on the stovetop, slip it in the oven, to get the way it's supposed to be. But anyways, they play Would You Rather. So would you rather have bad sex every day or get great sex every 5 years? Bad sex. If I have to choose, it would be bad sex every day. I can't wait 5 years to have great sex. I don't know. Anyway. But then, all of a sudden, a car pulls up and they start flashing their lights, which means dogging, I think? Sex? Like doggy style? Me, in my mind, when you're the only person there, then all of a sudden a car pulls up and starts flashing their lights at you, it means I'm going to murder you. It means BTK. That's what it means in my mind. The BTK is going to come out of there. Finally, we're going to have the identification of BTK, right? Like we don't already know. And it's going to kill you because you're a couple. That's what happened. We all saw Zodiac. Or if you're like me, you still didn't need to rely on Zodiac to know the story. Anyway, it is what it is. That's why I have a true crime side on Patreon. Anyway, I've actually covered that episode if you're interested. The episode about what was the guy's name again? I forget his name. The Zodiac one that they did recently on Netflix. If you want to head on over there. Anyway, so yeah, apparently it means dogging, meaning sex, but then the people leave and they end up having sex in caravan. So I guess they took their advice. I don't know. But then we meet, I think our final person of this episode. We meet him for the first time. His name is Andrew. He's 36 years old. He loves flying drones. He loves adventures. He has a podcast. And we find out, 'cause I thought he was a little person, but he's actually, I guess, technically not a little person. Because maybe I don't know how it works when you have brittle bone. I know, like, when we saw that show, Pamela and Jay, I think was his name, um, which I love that show. The show was so sweet, and they both had brittle bone syndrome. It was the first time I ever heard about it, actually. I was watching this. See, TLC is still the learning channel, everybody. So it was the first time I ever heard of brittle bone. Um, but we saw him with a person who appeared as average size and also had brittle bone syndrome. So I guess I don't know how it works in this case. He looks shorter, but he doesn't look like as short as the others like we saw like in that show, if you watched it. Which if you haven't, I highly recommend. It was the sweetest show. It was so wholesome. But yeah. So I don't want to talk too much out of my ass about that, so I'm not sure. But when we first see him, I thought he was a little person. But then when I saw him and all of this, I'm like, oh no, he's not a little person. I think he's brittle bone. And then he said he had brittle bone. And I'm like, okay, okay. Thank you, TLC. Thank you for helping me learn. Um, he has his girlfriend. Her name is Arrah. He was interested in Filipino women. Ugh, I hate when I see people just target in on Filipino women. It just feels gross. Like that guy Javon on B90. I hate him. Um, but anyways, he was interested in Filipino women. His reason is somewhat wholesome, though. He said that he was interested in them because one of his nurses, when he was in the hospital, was Filipino and she took so good care of him. I think I think that's sweet. That's a sweet, wholesome reason why he is into Filipino women. Not like these people who are like, well, I hear Filipino women are submissive. Then you get a girl like who Javon is with, and you learn quickly that they're not. I've just, I've never seen or believed that Filipino women are submissive. I don't think they're any more submissive than other races. Asian women, yes, in general, there is that whole stereotype that they can be submissive. But we've seen so many women from the Philippines who have shown the world we're not freaking submissive. I didn't think Rose was submissive. She didn't take the shit from Ed. I don't find Javon, I can't remember her name right now, but I don't find Javon's wife submissive fucking at all. Like, I love her actually. And I can't even think of all the women we've had. Anyone else, I wouldn't say they were submissive, but maybe have low self-esteem. But that's not submissive. Now, you can manipulate a person who has low self-esteem, but I don't find that. Or that other one who was with that guy who called himself King whatever, and he was fucking appalling in 90 Day UK. I can't remember his name. King somebody, not Charles. Not Charles. But can't remember his name, but he would do um trivia nights, I think was what he did. And he was with a Filipino woman. I didn't find her submissive either. So this whole connotation that people may think that Filipino women are submissive, I've known Filipino women in my everyday life and they are not submissive. So I just don't understand where that comes from. That's so stupid. Anyway, um when he but I'm not saying that's what he thinks. I don't think that's what he thinks at all. When he told her about his condition, she didn't care. Didn't phase her. We see them talking and it's a little bit awkward. It made me think, like, is she actually into him? And it made me nervous, like, is she gonna show up for him? So they have not met in person, but he is madly in love with her. He has not told his friends and family very much about her. So he's telling his friend Abby, who also has brittle bone syndrome, that he's going to go see her. This is going to be a 30-hour flight, which can be probably really taxing on his body when you also have a medical condition. He's not necessarily uh, worried too much because he has been all over the country, or not the country, but all over the world. He's on adventures and stuff like that. So he isn't too concerned about that. This is going to be the longest flight that he's done. And he is worried though that it's not going to be very accessible where he's going to be. I don't think he's flying into Manila. Or maybe he is flying into Manila, but then they're going to be going elsewhere after. So I would imagine Manila is probably a little bit more accessible, but I don't know if it is. But definitely where they're going to probably be going from there is not. So we'll see how that goes. The worry is too, I would think, is because it's not accessible and he also maybe not smooth where he can do with the wheelchair. He has to be so careful because any wrong move could send him into the hospital, could kill him. So I can imagine like this maybe is not a great idea. Anyway, he's getting ready to go to the Philippines. He doesn't know if she will even be there at the airport when he gets there. He lands, the airport is insane, and she is nowhere to be seen. And there is no Wi-Fi in the airport so that he can at least call her to find out where she is. And he's starting to kind of think like, if she's not here, I mean, I have no hotel. He has somewhere he can sleep. He doesn't have Wi-Fi on his phone that he can call somebody. He's fucked if she doesn't show up. And that's where we end episode 4. And that is where I end my episode for this one. So we'll be back to do more of this. probably will be slowly getting this done, as well as sneaky links. I have to still finish that up for you guys. I'm trying to get that done before February, which is only a couple weeks, 2 full weeks, because we have Love is Blind coming. There's a rumor that Secret Lives of the Mormon Wives is coming. Single Life is starting. I will be talking about Single Life. It's in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna be talking about Single Life. People that are coming, which I'm sure a lot of us know at this point. I'm gonna wait for 2000 to be 90 episode, or even I'm thinking of doing a toe roundup episode as well. Just my thoughts on things that have happened, because I haven't obviously done the episodes consistently. But I'll probably even do it there. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. That's it for this episode. I don't think there's anything else I need to talk about. I don't think so. But no, that is it, guys. That is it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, bear with me, because I have not done an outro for the podcast in quite some time. So bear with me here. So if you liked what you heard, you can go to any of your favorite podcast apps. You can follow, make sure you don't miss a single episode. And you can also rate the podcast at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It'd be greatly appreciated. As a reminder, any 5-star ratings that are given to the podcast, or any comments that are given to the podcast, will be read on the podcast, which I have done in the past. If you want to connect with the podcast through social media, you can find me at Facebook and Instagram at realityt2. You can also find me at Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at realityt2pod. I believe you can email me at realityt2 at hotmail.com, and you can have any inquiries, anything like that, any ideas, any shows or episodes you want me to cover. You can definitely do that over there. And I am going back to our old website, and that is at solo.to/realityt2. There you can get any of the links to anything that I didn't mention here, any of the socials, website, email, all of that. It's all there for you. And we also have a new thing there where you can help support the podcast as well. It's called a tip jar. And you can tip whatever your heart's desire if you want to support the podcast, but don't want to necessarily support the podcast in going to Patreon, for example, or any of the links in any of the advertisements. You can do it there. But since we're on the topic of Patreon, you can head on over to patreon.com/realityt2, where there you can get access to even more than what I do here. There are 3 different tiers where you can get these shows ad-free, as well as our next tier up, where you would get another reality show that's being covered. So, we have Jersey Shore that's been getting covered. That's still being covered currently at the time of recording of this outro, but the future is bright with what's to come in the future, which I will be discussing, or I have discussed. I don't even know. And then also our next tier is a true crime tier as well. So you can definitely head over for that. But that is basically it. I will also just quickly mention here too, if you're interested in a different take of a podcast that I'm a part of, we do things a little differently, you can head on over to Next Take Podcast, where I usually drop bonus episodes here on this feed, but there you get a lot more. And that podcast is making changes. We're growing, doing new things, but you can definitely head on over there if you want to just hear a little bit different than what I do over here. So you can find that podcast over at our website, solo.to/next take podcast. And there we'll have all the links to your desire that will link you to any of your favorite podcast apps or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of it. Social medias, it's all over there. But of course, you can still find that podcast at any of your favorite podcast apps. But that is it for this episode. We'll see you next time with another episode. Bye, everybody.